management, and advertisers.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope everyone doing well out there. Happy Wednesday. I got to tell you, I am really fired up today. More than I've been in a long time. Because the right is politicizing the brutal murder of this innocent young woman on this train. And we are going to have coverage and be discussing that. Don Lemon. That's right, Lemonheads out there. Don Lemon's going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. He's going to be talking about this. We're in the YouTube Super Chat. We're everywhere at PTL Radio Show. We really do appreciate you guys being here. I want to get right into this because I got a lot to say today, ladies and gentlemen. A lot has been building up. So if you haven't already heard, several weeks back, a terrible murder and a tragedy took place where a young, innocent Ukrainian refugee was stabbed and bled out to death on a train. It was very difficult to watch, very emotional to watch, and I hope the person who is responsible for this remains in jail for the rest of his life. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, after a school shooting where a bunch of innocent and 8- and 9-year-old kids are shot to death, usually at the hands of a white male, Republicans say thoughts and prayers. But after this horrible murder took place, they demonize all black people, minorities. They blame it on Democrat judges. When we know that this guy pled guilty, spent time in jail, but did not get the mental health that he needed to be a safe person in a train or a subway. What is the party that votes against allocating funds to help people that are mentally ill when the entire Republican Party is totally okay with over 15 million people losing their health care coverage? But they want to politicize this. That's right. They want to politicize it. It is despicable. It is disgusting. And they talk about Daniel Penny. I'll talk about this. These are the same people that want Derek Chauvin. Literally, Derek Chauvin to be pardoned. We are also covering another huge breaking news story. We are hearing reports literally within minutes ago that conservative pundit Charlie Kirk has been shot. Now, we are trying to get confirmation of this, but I can tell you the Krasenstein brothers are reporting on this, and this is breaking news, and apparently it just happened. I have no idea the circumstances of this. I don't know. All we know that it was during an event in Utah. That's what we're learning right now. I don't know how serious it is. I don't know what his medical condition is. I have no idea. Violence is never the answer. As much as I despise Charlie Kirk as a human being, this is not good for the country. We cannot condone violence in any way, shape, or form. All I'm learning from the Associated Press and the reports that have just been put out is that there was an event where he was shot. He was holding an event. I don't know if this was an assassination attempt. I'm looking at the video right now, and maybe my producer will be able to tell me what his condition is. We don't know. But I guess what we're learning from reports is that through video and on TMZ that Charlie Kirk was shot. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. We're going to learn it as we go along. So this is breaking news. It literally just happened as I got on the air. I don't know where he was shot. I don't know how serious this is. I don't know what his condition is. I'm going to go under an assumption and assume that this was intentional, that this wasn't an accident. We are learning that he was shot in the neck now. Reports, which is really bad, obviously, because if you're shot in the neck, if it hits you in the right spot, it's very difficult to survive something like that. So again, if you're just joining us on the show, this is breaking news. It just happened moments ago. At an event where Charlie Kirk was speaking, he was shot in the neck. I can't see that video. My producer is trying to show it to me. I can't really. It's hard to see it. I'm looking at the video right now up close. All I see in this video is him. I see some blood, I believe. He was just, there's a lot of blood. This is not good. And I can't read what I'm seeing on the screen as we get breaking news reports. But I can tell you that we're getting information as it's coming in. This is an enormous story. This is horrible. I don't care what anybody thinks about Charlie Kirk. This is terrible. Violence is never the answer. This is terrible. Donald Trump just put out a statement that says we must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. I would obviously disagree with that, but he says God bless. I can tell you the video that I just saw looks really, really bad. I don't know how you can recover from something like that. Obviously, we wish him and his family the best. This is a horrible situation. This is breaking news. I did not know I was going to be talking about this until I literally just got on the air. And if you're just joining us, we are following the breaking news that Charlie Kirk, moments ago, at a political event where it appears as though there were thousands of people in the crowd. So this was a big event in Utah, not too far from Las Vegas, has been shot. I just saw the video where it appears as though he was shot in the neck. The only video that I have seen is I see the moment that he was shot, blood pouring out of his neck, which is really bad. That's not a good sign. This is not good. I don't care what you think about Charlie Kirk. I don't care what you think about certain individuals. Violence is never the answer. And this is, I'm very concerned. Obviously, I'm concerned about Charlie Kirk's health. I don't wish anything bad upon him, but I'm also concerned about retribution at other events. This is where we are at as a country right now, and I am very, very concerned. Again, this is shocking. I came on the air today, and obviously I wanted to talk about this terrible tragedy that took place where a young Ukrainian girl was stabbed to death, and how the right is turning it into a political story. What I can tell you right now is I am in shock, as I'm sure all of you are, by this breaking news. I am in shock. The hate needs to stop. As Alexa on our YouTube super chat says, I'm sorry for Charlie. Maybe now we can stop talking and doing hateful and awful things to one another. Please love each other. Well, Alexa, I certainly think that's a sentiment that I would certainly agree with, especially on a day like today. Listen, I have no idea what the status is. I have no idea if he's going to make it. But I can tell you based on pictures, and again, I'm looking more at some... I'm looking more at pictures, and I'm looking at a snapshot picture where he was sitting down with a microphone, and you could see the bullet hole literally in this vicinity around his neck. I haven't really seen any other video yet. I haven't seen any updates on his health condition. What I can tell you is from what I have seen, it looks really, really bad. And sometimes it is a risk of what you're doing when you're not the president of the United States, or even if you are. There's only so much you could do when you hold an event outside. And I don't know the circumstances. I don't know if they checked people for weapons. I don't know who's responsible for this. I don't know. But it doesn't matter whether you're on the right or the left. It doesn't matter whether you agree with somebody or not. It doesn't matter. This is bad for the country. Okay, this is going to warrant more people, retribution. Who knows what happens from here? This is not good for the country. But I certainly feel for his family and his friends, and I do hope that he is able to recover from this. All I can tell you, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, I've just seen the video, I've seen pictures, it looks really bad. Now, obviously, I guess if you had to get shot, maybe you'd rather be shot in the neck than the head, but as you know, and it's so weird that I'm talking about this now because I was talking about this innocent young lady who was stabbed to death and she bled out from the neck, and that's the issue here. You're not going to be able to breathe, and you're going to lose so much blood in a short period of time. I don't have any new information. That's all I know. I did not know this happened the moment I went on the air. I just found out about it live on the radio right now. Don Lemon's going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. Obviously, I want to talk about some other topics, but this is a huge story. This story will be all over the airwaves, and I certainly hope that Charlie Kirk gets out of this okay. Listen, I'll be the first one to admit, I don't like Charlie Kirk. I don't like what he stands for, but he's not a criminal, okay? He's a father and a husband. He's got a family, okay? I don't wish him harm or ill will in any way, shape, or form. I don't like his rhetoric. I don't like his hateful rhetoric. I don't like the things he says, but that doesn't mean we condone any sort of violence in any way, shape, or form. This is awful for the country. I've seen the video of him being shot. This is awful. And again, this just happened moments ago. TMZ has it up on their website. I've seen the video. Producer Numchuck has shown me. And as soon as we get more updates on this, I will certainly bring it to you. But this is shocking. I came to the radio show today, driving in, had a clear mind of what I was going to be talking about today, which, of course, is this horrible tragedy of this Ukrainian woman who was stabbed to death on a train, and how the right is turning it political. And then all of a sudden, as I get on the air, we hear Charlie Kirk has been shot. And then I hear Charlie Kirk has been shot in the throat. And then I see the video and I say, oh my God, this is real. And then I see Donald Trump's statement. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. What we're learning from Utah Valley University, and this is more breaking news, we know that only one single shot was fired, and police are investigating. The good news is a suspect is in custody. We are also looking at video that I am watching right now of the crowd running, almost as if it's a stampede because people don't know what's going on. And we're looking at video right now of the crowd dispersing. This is crazy stuff. It seems like everything seems to happen when I start this radio show. It's absolutely insane. But again, if you're just joining us, the breaking news, Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, has been shot at one of his events in Utah, not too far from here. Video shows him being shot in the neck. This is not a conspiracy. We're not guessing. I don't know his condition. I'm going to tell you this has to be very, very serious. It's very strange. The only video I've seen is him the moment he was shot. I haven't seen him fall to the ground. I haven't seen anything that's happened after. Our producer is looking for more information as we can give you more information. I have no idea what his condition is. I don't know. It's unknown at this moment. What we do know is that he's in a lot of trouble. What we do know is that one person is in custody. What we do know is this happened in Utah in front of a lot of people. We know one person's in custody, and thankfully only one shot. Could have been even worse, and more people could have been injured. But again, don't know what his condition is. I will never, ever, ever condone violence. I never have. I never will. In any way, shape, or form. I have always been consistent on that, whether it was a Black Lives Matter protest or whether it was January 6th. Violence is never the answer. I was supposed to be having a discussion with Charlie Kirk in Arizona in December. I doubt that's going to happen now. But that's not important. What's important now is that Charlie Kirk gets the medical help that he needs, and hopefully he survives this. I can tell you right now, I'd rather see someone get shot. I wouldn't want anyone to get shot to begin with, but if you're shot in the throat and you can get medical attention quickly, you certainly have a much better chance of survival than if you're shot in the temple. Okay, this was not Donald Trump rally getting his ear pierced. From what I saw based on that video, it looked really, really bad, and I think my producer would agree with me on that. It did not look good. The risk you have is when you're talking in front of thousands of people outside, and I'm making an assumption here that nobody was checked for weapons. Other than that, how did this person get a weapon in there? You are always running the risk when you are a large public figure of something horrible happening. We don't want that to happen, but it appears as though it has happened here. I know. I'm not gonna defend the human being Charlie Kirk. He spewed hatred and bigotry and racism. I'm not sitting here defending him, the person. All I'm simply saying is just because you don't like somebody doesn't give somebody the authority to shoot somebody. And we're getting more and more video that's coming in. We're getting more and more video that we are watching and that we are witnessing. And as I am watching the video at this rally, I see Charlie Kirk sitting there as he normally does in these events. He's sitting in a chair, speaking with his microphone, as he always does at these events. They have a tent over him. He's got his 47 hats. He's got his microphone, and he debates people. This is what he does. He goes from universities all over the place, and he debates people. And we're trying to come up with any updated information that we can as to his condition. And let me just review to all of you what we know right now. Here's what we know for sure. This has been confirmed by local police. Charlie Kirk was holding one of his rallies, Turning Point USA, in Utah at a university. There were thousands of people there. He was underneath his tent with a microphone, and he was shot once. And it appears as though he was shot in the neck. And I can see Charlie Kirk falling down after he was shot. I'm looking at the video, and it looks like blood was gushing out of his neck. I'm sorry to be graphic with all of you. And again, there's more videos that we're seeing that are coming out. And for those of you out there that say you don't care, here's why you should. Even if you don't have empathy for Charlie Kirk, or even if you don't have empathy for his family, I don't know why you wouldn't. There are crazy people in society that are going to want retribution. Now, I hope that's not the case. But I can't imagine that if Charlie Kirk, after this situation happens, that if Charlie Kirk doesn't make it, and certainly I hope he does, for his family's sake, that there's not going to be some sort of retribution, especially if you're a political activist going to these universities. This is really bad. And let me be very clear, there's nothing funny about this. If you don't want to have empathy for Charlie Kirk, that's your prerogative, but I certainly feel for his family and friends. Yes, somebody can spread bigotry and hatred. There is something in this country called freedom of speech. That doesn't mean these people deserve to be shot. And I'm sorry if you feel that way, then I completely disagree with you. I've been doing radio for 23 years. I've covered a lot of stories that have broke while I was on the air. I've never quite covered something like this. And again, for those of you that are joining us, sadly, the breaking news is that Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck at one of his events Turning Point USA. I saw the bullet pierce his neck. This is not a conspiracy theory. Literally a second after, you see him falling to the ground. It looks really, really bad. We do know that one person is in custody. We don't have any reports of anybody else being hurt, thank God. We know that one shot was fired. We don't know the status. I don't know whether Charlie Kirk is alive or not right now. We don't know. But I've seen the video, and I'm seeing it over and over again, and it looks really, really bad. Almost like a scene from a movie. I mean, it's bad. What an interesting time to have Don Lemon on the show. He's supposed to be joining us here at the bottom of the hour. This is crazy stuff. I got to check my phone to make sure that he's not canceling on me. This is beyond belief. As I said, I've been doing radio for 23 years, and I'm not sure I've had anything like this happen live while I was on the air. This is really, really bad. This is really, really bad. And just hear me out on this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say this again. I don't care right now what you think about Charlie Kirk. That's irrelevant, okay? The man has a family, he's a father, and he's a husband. Regardless of what you think about him personally. This is not good for the country because there's probably going to be retribution and other people could be harmed and it could incite more violence. And the moron who did this, who I hope spends the rest of his life in jail, is putting everybody at risk now. This is not good. And I'm in shock myself. I was supposed to be meeting Charlie Kirk in December with the Un-F America tour. Imagine if he doesn't make it. As we look at more updates on social media, and the problem with a story like this, the issue, and the problem with a story like this is that a lot of people are going to make up conspiracy theories, and a lot of people are going to say things that may or may not be true. I'm trying to be very responsible on the air right now, okay? I'm trying to be very responsible and tell you what I know. And again, what we know, and my producer can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but here's what we know. Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA in Utah, holding one of his rallies. Thousands of people there at a university. Numchuck, what university was it? Was it the University of Utah?
Utah Valley.
Utah Valley. Okay, so this was at Utah Valley. He's speaking with a microphone underneath his tent, and there's video of him being shot. This is not made up. This is not, AI. Sadly, I wish it was. And I see him getting shot in the neck, and immediately appears as though he falls to the ground, and immediately you see a lot of blood. And I can tell you that if you're shot in the neck, you're going to have to be very lucky to survive something like that. And you also worry about loss of oxygen. Again, I'm not a doctor, but if you're shot in the neck, if you can't breathe for 2 minutes, you lose all oxygen to the brain. I think you know what happens after that. So this is a very, very, very dangerous situation. This is a very serious situation. I cannot sit here and say that I don't feel bad for Charlie Kirk. Of course I do. No matter whether I disagree with him or not on politics, I'm a man of some moral character. I have a moral compass. We're going to wait until Don Lemon joins us. I'm not going to let a break. I'm going to stay here. We're going to wait for Don Lemon to join us, and then hopefully we will be able to take your calls. But this is, we're following this story, which is mesmerizing. I came to the radio station today, had the show prepared, talking about politics and talking about how this innocent Ukrainian woman was stabbed to death. I had all the audio ready to go. I had everything ready to go. And then all of a sudden, 2 minutes after I'm on the air, we get all these breaking news reports for the Associated Press, TMZ, that moments ago Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. This is Startling. We're monitoring the breaking news. We have no idea what his condition is right now. I hope that he got medical attention immediately, because that's the thing that I'm worried about. I'm worried about loss of blood, obviously. You get shot in the neck, you're going to lose a lot of blood really fast. This is really bad. Pete Buttigieg put out a statement, and Pete Buttigieg, being a good, decent man of moral character, I'm not surprised to hear him say this. He says, it's so horrific to hear that Charlie Kirk was shot today in Utah. Political violence must always be totally rejected. I'm praying for him and all who may have been injured or impacted. Of course, I agree as well. I totally agree with that sentiment as well. I just disagree with a lot of people out there when they say I don't give a crap. First of all, think about how this can put you in harm's way. Think about how this could put a Democrat in harm's way. I don't care what your political affiliation is. Violence is never the answer. I said that the first and second assassination attempts of Donald Trump. Violence is never the answer. Never. How was this person, I don't know if it's a guy, how was this person able to get his hands, it is a guy, hands on a weapon? Did they have security? Did they check for weapons? These are questions that are, but I think the most important question now that we should be focused on, because there is somebody in custody, is he going to make it? To me, that's the most important thing right now. What am I looking at? Am I looking at the suspect? Is that what I'm looking at right now? So I am looking at the man who shot Charlie Kirk. It appears as though the person who shot Charlie Kirk is an elderly white man, if I'm getting that correctly, right? This looks like an elderly white man wearing glasses. I'm seeing the video of him. I'm guessing he's at least in his 60s or 70s, which we're going to have to learn more about this, but I'm just shocked. Can we go to Charlie Kirk's page here real quickly? I'd like to see what his last tweet was, if that's possible. One of Charlie Kirk's recent tweets, if we could go a little bit lower, is he was just tweeting out Caroline Leavitt, and how interesting that Charlie Kirk's last tweet was talking about how change needs to be necessary. Charlie Kirk's last tweet on his social media account says that we need to change the politicization of everything, and, you know, talking about the death of this Ukrainian woman. And now Charlie Kirk, I would assume, is fighting for his life right now.
Okay. I'll look into it.
But we are again covering the breaking news, which is quite shocking right now. Quite shocking that Charlie Kirk has been shot at a Turning Point event that was at the Utah Valley campus. We know that at least one shot entered his neck. We also don't know what his status is. We don't know that either. And as soon as we get any new information, I am giving you the information as it comes in from reliable sources. Okay? That is what we are doing right now. Don Lemon is going to be joining us here momentarily, and we're going to be talking to him about this breaking news that has happened. And if there's somebody that really knows a thing or two about breaking news, it's certainly this guy. Covering the breaking news, which is absolutely shocking. We are learning that Charlie Kirk was just shot at a Turning Point event at this university in Utah. And joining us right now, I wasn't planning on talking about this with him, but if there's anybody that knows a thing or two about covering breaking news, one of the best in the business, and my good friend, Don Lemon, joining us right now on the show. Don, I did not expect to be talking to you about this right now, but I appreciate you being here. How are you?
I'm okay. I will say this, Brian, and I think you'll agree with me. I don't agree with anything, Charlie, just about anything that comes out of Charlie Kirk's mouth, especially politically. I don't. He's, been bigoted, racist, all of those things, right? Sexist.
Yep.
Violence is not the answer. And I see some people, on social media saying, "Oh, thoughts and prayers are being snarky." I don't do that.
No, I agree.
Stay classy. But perhaps this incident will help somehow with some sensible gun legislation. Charlie Kirk has spoken out for, basically sort of an open everything Second Amendment, right? I think he was quoted once saying, I want to be right, saying it was a God-given right or something
Hmm.
equivalent to that. Um, so maybe this will make some difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. He said, this was in 2023. Charlie Kirk in 2023 said, you will never live in a society where you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death, Kirk said at a Turning Point USA Faith event on Wednesday, as reported by Media Matters for America. That is nonsense. It's drivel, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. This is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe. So he's saying to protect other God-given rights.
Yeah.
So maybe this will be different. But I mean, this is crazy. And people have seen the video, Brian.
It's bad.
Uh, and I That's not, it's not, you don't get a good, that's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
Don, here's what I saw, and I'm sure you saw the same video. It looks like he is shot right in the lower neck area. And what I'm concerned, by the way, I agree with everything you just said. I don't like.
They said it was a jugular. Again, that's unconfirmed, but if
There was blood gushing out of his neck, Don. So what I'm worried about is, first of all, if you can't get oxygen to the brain within 120 seconds, you might be gone. So how fast did he get medical attention? The loss of blood. I mean, it just. So I agree with everything you just said. I'm in shock, just like you are. I don't like Charlie Kirk, the person, but he has a family. He's a father. He's a husband. And for these people on social media that say, I don't care, or, who gives an F, they're all wrong. Okay. It doesn't matter whether there's an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. And here's what I'm worried about, Don: retribution. I agree with what you said about gun control. I hope something could happen here, but I'm worried also about retribution.
Yeah. How do you think I feel? I'm out there and very recognizable face wherever I go.
Yep.
And, I'm out on the streets and I do the in real life man on the street interviews. And, I had a confrontation with a man the other day who was drunk.
I saw that. Yep.
And, I usually try to keep it classy, right? I may get a few barbs in, but I'm not going to just insult you or be violent or be rude to you. But I think you're right to worry about retribution, because there are a lot of MAGA right-wing folks who, do I want to say this, who may be out to get some sort of revenge. And I hope that doesn't happen. But the world we live in right now.
Well, you had to deal with that, Don, at CNN. You had to deal with death threats at CNN, and that was very difficult for you to have to deal with. I'm in shock right now, and I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. But obviously, we hope Charlie Kirk gets through this okay. It doesn't look good. But what do you think? You're someone who's been covering, news for so long, and you're so good at what you do. When you cover a breaking news story like this, there's only so much we could say, right? We know he was shot once in the neck. We know where it was at. We know it happened. We don't know his condition. I mean, what else can we say right now? You're a professional. You've been doing this forever. Have you had to ever cover anything like 9/11, for example? You've covered some pretty crazy things live on the air. This is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, anytime someone gets shot, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And I've covered assassination attempts. I can't think of specifically right now because this is so shocking. I was in Ukraine during the war. There was a strike near me in Lviv. They struck and you can go look at the video. They struck a fuel facility right near, not far from where our hotel was. I worked in the foreign bureaus. I'm not a war correspondent, so to speak, but I've covered some pretty horrific things. I've seen people, when I was in local news, I've seen people get shot. Right after I did my live shot once in Philly, I saw someone get shot, and we just hightailed it out of there. But I've reported some horrific things, but this is terrible. And look, and what's going to happen on the right. They're going to say, they're going to blame all Democrats, all liberals, and that the liberals are violent and whatever. We don't even know who it is. They're saying it's an older man, an older
I
white
saw
man.
images of him, older, bald, white guy. He was on his knees, and it appeared as though he was an older man in his 70s. So,
Right.
but yeah, that's what I'm worried about as well. I'm worried about retribution, how the media is going to be covering this. I wanted you to come on this show today, besides to talk about your great news coverage and what you did in Washington, D.C., but about the politicization of the murder that took place on this train, where it's horrible. This innocent young woman loses her life, gets stabbed, and everybody on the right is blaming liberal judges and Democrats when we know that this guy didn't get the help that he needed. And he went to jail and he was found guilty of some serious crimes. But I'm thinking, one crazy schizophrenic, and they're blaming the left for it. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's the attitude, Brian, that gets you what happened today. There is a comprehensive approach to crime, to criminality, to people having access to guns who shouldn't. There's a comprehensive way of doing it. And it's not just, getting rid of all the guns or no one wants to take everyone's guns, but we have to deal with mental health issues. We have to understand that I learned today, and I can't believe I didn't know this, that there was a program that would have stopped the shooter in Minnesota because he had written something, posted about it, allegedly posted about wanting to do what he did. And it was the Republicans got rid of that program. And so, this whole idea about it, the only way that we can, fight crime is to have more police, to beat up on people, to violate people's rights, or to not have mental health experts work along with police. I just think it's ridiculous. And, the Second Amendment in this country, it's not sacrosanct. Every amendment in our Constitution pretty much has limits, right? Even the First Amendment can't, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, that whole approach. The Second Amendment has restrictions in this country. And, it's an old cliche, it's an old cliche. I would say when people say, when the founding fathers came up with the Second Amendment, it was fucking pea shooters. Excuse me.
Okay.
Sorry, my language. It
It's
was
okay.
pea shooters and muskets, right? And cannons. They didn't think that there would be, high capacity weapons that could kill, a multitude of people in just seconds. Nobody was thinking about that at that point. So,
Yeah.
it's money, it's the NRA, it's people who they just want to blame people. They want to blame bad Democrats, bad black people, bad immigrants. You know the story.
Yeah. Don, I want to ask you this because we have a little bit more information. We are learning that allegedly there were no security checkpoints at this event. It was held outside. That's problematic. Number two, we're learning that the shooter was about 200 yards away in some sort of building. So he wasn't even literally at the event per se outside, but he was in some sort of building, it kind of reminds me of the John F. Kennedy assassination a little bit from that regard, 200 yards away in a building. What is your reaction to that?
Well, in Minnesota, remember the guy shot through the window. And so my reaction is just that we're not safe. I feel like we're not safe anywhere. And I feel like we're not addressing, not to just keep going back to what we talked about before. We're just not addressing the root causes of crime and why people do this. We're not addressing the hate that people stir up in this country and how that can affect people. And especially if you have mental health challenges, people can be pushed into doing drastic things when they're not thinking straight. And, I've never met a crazy person. I hate to use that term, crazy. I've never met a person who had a mental health issue that admitted that they did. Everyone thinks that they don't.
Yeah.
And so we need to start addressing that in order to take care of this problem, because people are going to have access to guns. And I think we have to stop being so divided about politics. And I'm saying that to the Trump folks and the MAGA people. Because I don't know if this is a left-wing person or whatever, but most of the political violence does not come from the left. Now, I'm not saying that it does not happen, but most of the time it is someone who's been co-opted by some right-wing person or some conspiracy theorist or someone who doesn't believe in facts, some racist, some whatever. They've been co-opted by it, and they fall into this cult-like behavior and they start believing things that aren't true. So
Right.
I think if the right wants to address this, this is the time where they can do it. They should do it and do it properly, not just own the libs, you know?
I agree. So, Don, you have fans all over the world, so many that appreciate what you do, and I would imagine a lot of them are not MAGA supporters. So, I want you to speak to, so many great people out there that are fans of yours, but there are some, hopefully a small percentage, even some on my own chat right now, that are saying they don't care. F Charlie Kirk, which I find to be utterly despicable right now.
Yeah.
Especially at this time. Listen, when Rush Limbaugh passed away, I said he was a cancer to society, but my thoughts are with his family. I said, listen, he was a bad man, but he died of an illness. But this is different. This is political violence. Can you speak to those people? Because I would imagine even on your show today, there are going to be some of your fans that'll probably disagree with you. What is your message to them?
It's simple. Keep it classy. And I always do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's so. There are people and a lot of folks in this country who don't agree with my political point of view. There are folks who don't like me. There are folks who get an idea of who Don Lemon is through Fox News or the right-wing media, right? And when they finally meet me, they're like, oh, wait a minute, you're not the guy that I see on Fox News. But what I say to them is, you wouldn't want it to happen to you. So I know this is a tough thing to think about, but think about Charlie Kirk being a member of your family. Or someone you like politically, someone you agree with politically. How would you feel if they were shot? Now, again, Charlie Kirk's political beliefs, leanings, his bigotry, his racism, his homophobia, his sexism, all of those things, disgusting. I don't agree with it at all. But I do not agree with violence. It is never, ever, ever, never the answer.
Don, really well said. I know you're a busy guy. Obviously, hopefully next time we could speak under different circumstances. I didn't expect I'd be talking to you today about this, but it's just horrible.
Well, I'm actually glad that I got to share this time with you because you're the first person that I've spoken to in the media about this, and I'm about to go on live now on my YouTube channel and do it. So tune into the Don Lemon Show. We're going to be talking about this.
Don, I listen to you every morning as I'm going into work, man, and I appreciate our friendship. And thank you so much for coming on what is turned out to be a crazy, busy news day. And I worry about people like you out there, Ron. Some of my friends out there that are far more popular than I am. So please stay safe, okay, my friend.
Thank you very much, Brian. I'll see you soon. You be safe as well, because they have it in for you as well, buddy.
That is true. That is true.
Right.
Don, I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don Lemon, everybody. Happy and lucky to call him a friend. He's a good man, and he's a man of empathy. And I knew he would say pretty much echoing exactly what I have said. Listen, this is a unique show today for the wrong reasons. Breaking news, Charlie Kirk has been shot. It appears as though in the neck. Not good. Normally, under these circumstances, I would take a break, but I think I just want to go straight to the phone calls because this is breaking news, and our producer's doing a really good job at trying to get me the most up-to-date information as we see it. He's already shown me the video. My producer, 2 minutes into the show, he showed this to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any idea because it happened right when I got on the air. I do want to open up the phone lines and get your reaction to this. I did not think we would be talking about this today. This is mesmerizing, shocking. The number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-221-7283. Again, that number, 702-221-7283. We just got Don Lemon's reaction to this. I echo everything that he just said. It's not looking good. Obviously, we hope Charlie Kirk somehow is able to recover from this. But when you are shot in the neck, a shotgun from 200 yards away, I don't know a lot about guns, but I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, it's usually not a very good outcome. I can tell you that I saw the video. This wasn't a piercing. This wasn't, Donald Trump getting a little blood on his ear. This was Charlie Kirk, which it appears as though might have been shot in the jugular. And if that's the case, forget about it. So very fortunate that nobody else was shot. Obviously, a crazy lunatic madman decided to do this. I was supposed to be meeting Charlie Kirk in December with the UNF America tour, and we were supposed to be having a debate conversation. I was actually really looking forward to that because I've been wanting to talk to Charlie Kirk for a long time. Violence is never the answer. This man has a family, okay? He's a married man with a family. They didn't do anything wrong. And this cannot be the answer. And please, I am pleading with all of you. Don't give me this stuff like, I don't care about Charlie Kirk. F Charlie Kirk, thoughts and prayers. I'm telling you, I'm not going to take to that kindly, and I'm not going to tolerate that. Okay? It's one thing if somebody dies of natural causes, okay, which we know, we hope he doesn't die, but it's one thing if somebody loses their life, let me say, from a natural causes or from cancer, from a disease. That's a different situation. This is a crime. This is attempted murder. We cannot condone this stuff. Okay? We can't. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's start off with Terry. Terry's first up on PTL. Hello, Terry.
Hey, Brian. Good afternoon.
Hi.
I couldn't agree with you more. I feel incredibly sad for his family. It's a very unfortunate thing. Obviously, the marksman, went right for the jugular there. But it's very, very I just feel really bad that this happened to this person. And unfortunately, the other side of that is that Charlie Kirk's a very provocative kind of guy. I mean, he puts a lot of, I just literally read something this morning that he put out about women not getting married and having babies. Yeah. And it just irritated me to no end.
Listen, he's a bad guy. Okay, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's
exactly.
not a criminal.
You and I are on the same page.
He's not a criminal.
Right, exactly.
He's not a rapist.
Right.
Okay, he's not Donald Trump. But Charlie
Correct.
Kirk might have been a bad guy, racist, homophobic, as Don Lemon just said. Didn't deserve this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and condone it like you're not. He has a family, and we have to show a little bit of class, even if you don't think Charlie Kirk had any class at all. I dislike Charlie Kirk. I always have. But that doesn't mean we condone this type of violence. This is horrible. This is bad for the country.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
It's bad for both sides of the aisle. It's bad for everybody's safety. It's bad, really bad for people like Don Lemon, who I admire very much, who's a personal friend of mine. I appreciate your call, Terry. Thank you very much. We cannot condone this sort of stuff. If you don't have something to say with some condolences or, thoughts for the family, then just don't say anything at all. If you're one of those people that's happy that this happened to Charlie Kirk, then quite frankly, I really don't want you to call into the show because I think you're wrong. And you're probably going to get me angry because that's not the person that I am. That's not how I was raised. And this is horrible. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. We're obviously covering the breaking news that Charlie Kirk was just shot in the neck at one of his events. It does not look good for Charlie Kirk. Let's see. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next on PTL. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Brian, I'm not going to mention anything on the shooting itself, but I'm going to talk about the injury.
Okay.
Now,
sure.
Depending on if it hit the jugular or the carotid, will determine if he can survive.
Okay.
Now, any good medic with an extremely good medical bag, if it hit the jugular, there's really not much you can do because you really can't clamp it up. Because
Mark, can I ask you something? I just want to ask you about that. What you're talking about? I'm sorry to interrupt. So, Mark, we saw the video. Did you see the video of him being shot? Did you see a close up of it? Because I wanted to ask you.
I haven't seen the video.
Okay, I can tell you, as soon as he is shot, we see a lot of blood, like a ton of blood. Now, obviously, if you're shot, you're going to see blood in any area of your body. But does that give you any indication that he might have been shot in the jugular or more cause to think that?
Absolutely not, because either being shot in the carotid or the jugular will produce that amount of blood. Now, like I was saying, if he was shot in the jugular, you can't clamp that off. A medic cannot clamp the jugular off because the patient would probably die.
A source in a hospital is reported to the Associated Press that Charlie Kirk right now is in critical condition.
Okay, so if he's still alive in critical condition, I would think he was shot in the carotid.
Okay.
Because you can clamp off the carotid. And if you're having trouble breathing, like you had mentioned, you can perform a tracheotomy while you clamp off the carotid. But if you clamp off the carotid too long, then it's brain dead, brain damage, and all that nonsense.
Well, I'd be worried about that, Mark. Mark, I'd be worried about oxygen to his brain. I mean, if you don't have oxygen to the brain for a minute or two, say goodbye, right?
No. Actually, you can clamp off the carotid for about 3 to 4, 5, maybe 5 minutes,
Okay.
and perform a tracheotomy
Okay.
right there on the spot, and
Right.
then rush him to the hospital.
Right.
Don't wait for an ambulance because he'll probably die by the time the ambulance gets there. Get him to the hospital.
Well, that's what I'm worried
immediately.
about. I'm worried about the logistics, right? He's in the middle of a university.
Right,
How
exactly.
fast could they have
Where is
gotten?
he at?
Right. How quickly could they
How
have
far away
airlift?
is the
Yeah.
hospital?
Right. That's the key.
problem.
I mean,
Right.
well, Mark, I appreciate your experience, and obviously you know what you're talking about, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Obviously, we hope he wasn't shot there at that position of the neck. Let's go to KC. KC is next up on PTL. Hello, KC.
What's up, Brian? Good
Hey.
to talk to you again, my brother.
What's up, KC?
Sorry under these circumstances. What's up, man? I'm just talking human to human. You know, when does this stop? I mean, this is getting ridiculous. This is getting out of hand. And I gotta ask you an honest question.
Yes.
This is we're not going to mention anything about the thoughts and prayers right now. We're going to just talk real talk.
Okay.
When does everybody start looking at the top of the food chain in this whole situation? Because a lot of this rhetoric and a lot of this violence and a lot of this hate and a lot of this, just everything is just coming from what we call our leader. And I'm not here to point fingers right now because I'm just coming to you as a human, as a man, as a sad man today, because I'm also a husband. I'm also a dad. I'm also a son. I never want to see that happen to another person. But the top is being so rhetoric on this hate speech and all of this hatefulness, and it's just hurting society, and you seeing the results of this. I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I think it's Casey. I think it's one thing if you call somebody a moron or a buffoon, but I think it's another thing when you attack people just based on their race or based on their gender. I think that is that's a new level. When you attack people because of what they look like or their sexuality, or if you just spread bigotry and misogynist. There's no place for that in society. And by the way, that should have nothing to do with politics. We just don't be a racist. Don't be a bigot, right? I don't like Donald Trump because of his behavior, right? I don't like Charlie Kirk because of the things he says. I think he spreads hate. But that does not mean that Charlie Kirk deserved to be shot in the neck today. We cannot condone violence. This man does have a family. I don't condone anything that Charlie Kirk says. I've spoken out against Charlie Kirk for years. But where have we come to now as a society where, people are going to rallies with shotguns and shooting people? This is beyond despicable and disgusting. And I'm telling you, for the people out there that have hate in their heart or think that this is okay, you could be next. Okay. There is going to be retribution. There are crazy people out there with weapons. This incites more violence. And I'm very worried about that as well. I hope Charlie Kirk gets through this okay. I hope Charlie Kirk somehow, you're shot in the neck with a shotgun. I would say right now, again, I'm not a doctor. We know he's in critical condition. This is a coin flip right now. It could go either way.
Right.
And even if he does recover, I would imagine he will never be the same. So, let's just hope he gets through this. I really hope, KC, and that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Good talk with you. I'll talk to you soon. I know you got a lot of callers waiting.
You.
Keep up the good word, and let's just hope everything is okay. That's all I got for you, my brother.
Thank you, Casey. I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. Again, following the breaking news, Charlie Kirk has been shot in the neck. He's currently in critical condition, and we're taking your phone calls at 702-221-7283. Let's go to Brandon. Brandon's next. What's up, Brandon?
Oh, not much. Just a tough day, obviously, with all the news going on between Charlie Kirk getting shot, that beautiful young woman getting killed on the train. But the real question we have to ask here is when the transgender shooting.
Okay, hold on. Do you know who the shooter is? Do you know if this is a left winger or a liberal?
I'm sure he's a liberal.
You're sure he's a liberal.
I'm pretty sure he's a liberal.
Gotcha. You're sure. Okay, you're sure of that. Did you say this?
Sure.
Did you say the same thing when, I don't know, people beat police officers on January 6th? Were you complaining about liberals that day too?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't. Okay. I'm just asking the question. That's all.
Talking about January 6th.
Okay. What about the 3 white people who murdered Ahmaud Arbery? Were they liberals? Were you complaining about liberals that day?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Of course, you don't know who
affiliation
Ahmaud. Of
was.
course, you don't. I find it very interesting that you don't know who Ahmaud Arbery is, a young man, innocent black man who was jogging down the street, who was lynched by 3 white people. But you don't seem to know anything about that. But when a black person kills a white person, you're the first person to blame Democrats when you have no idea what their political affiliation is. You just make asinine assumptions, Brandon, and I'm not going to allow you to do that, okay? I'm not going to allow you to do that. You don't know anything about this guy who shot Charlie Kirk. You don't even know who Ahmaud Arbery is, but the first thing you want to do is blame liberals and Democrats, which makes you a moron. Don't you call into the show and make an assumption like that. I will not allow it on this show. I will not allow it. You have no idea what this guy's you have no clue what the political affiliation is of the black man who killed that white Ukrainian woman. You have no idea, but yet you make assumptions and assertions. Don't do that, Brandon. You're better than that, I hope. Don't do that.
Well, I mean, it is like, okay, let's look at Charlie Kirk here. Why else would you want to kill him?
So let me ask you a question. Let's just assume that this guy's a left-wing liberal. Does that mean all liberals are murderers? Does that mean all Democrats are murderers? What the hell is your point? Because one deranged individual committed a horrible, violent act, you want to blame it all on liberalism when you don't even know who he is? What if he's just a whack job? What if he's a guy with a police record? What if he's a schizophrenic like the guy who killed that innocent Ukrainian woman on that train? Why do you just make assumptions and want to automatically assume that it was some sort of lefty liberal? Hey, I got some news for you, pal. The first person who tried to assassinate Donald Trump came from a Republican family. It wasn't a liberal. Okay? The second guy who attempted to shoot Donald Trump once voted for Donald Trump. So don't you give me this nonsense, okay? We're also learning, by the way, as I vent to this caller, that at least 2 students were shot as well. I was hoping that wasn't the case. We're learning 2 students were shot, okay, at a local high school in Denver. This is a completely different story, okay? As I was reading that, I thought, anyway, that's another story. Brandon, will you just take back what you said? Because it's ridiculous. We have one deranged individual.
I'm not going to take it back because
the left
has been putting violence on this country for the last 10 years
and
because they can't get their way.
Obama has been putting violence on this country because they couldn't get their way.
I said the left.
Okay, how so?
I said the left.
How so? So what was January 6th then? Was that the left?
January 6th was a protest that went off the rails a little bit, but it was nothing compared to what happened today. The assassination attempt on Donald Trump, the transgender attack on the Catholic school the other week. I mean, you just can't. The looting and rioting all of summer of 2020. I mean, come on, Brian.
What do you mean?
You know that's all in the name of the left.
What are you talking about? I could bring up Charlottesville, Virginia. Good people on both sides. What are the types of people that are in the Ku Klux Klan? Are those Democrats or Republicans right now? Is David Duke a Republican or a Democrat? Don't you give me this nonsense that it's always the left.
The KKK was started by
I didn't ask you who it was started by. Who's David Duke? And you think a bunch of Klan members are Democrats right now?
He's a Southern Democrat.
Oh, no, actually, David Duke is a supporter of Donald Trump, so you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. So don't you give me this nonsense. You want to blame the left for everything, okay? Last I checked, the only group of people that tried to overturn the outcome of a free and fair election and beat police officers were MAGA Republicans. And guess what? Donald Trump. Guess what? No, it wasn't. You're an imbecile. And guess what? No, you're an imbecile. Yeah, get off my show. You're a disgrace. You are a MAGA moron, is what you are, and you are a disgrace. That's what you are. You are a complete disgrace of an individual. You are a disgrace. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's see here. Let's go to Issachar. Issachar is next up on PTL. Hello, Issachar.
What's going on, Brian? So I was just like watching your show on YouTube and stuff. And when I found out that someone who got shot, and I was just looking in the comments, I was like, who got shot? And then I saw Charlie Kirk. And then I looked into Twitter, and then I saw it was trending. And when I saw the video, I was like, oh man, that is terrible. That, like, you could instantly see the gashes of blood just coming out of that man. I'm just like, man, I really hope he's fine. I really hope that he makes it, because the last thing is that for his wife and his kids to not have him. So I really hope that he does make it. And I just want to say this. This is another thing I want to say as well, too. is this going to be the wake up call for the right to actually have some gun legislation to actually start to do something? Like if Sandy Hook wasn't the wake up call for them to actually do some legislation, if last week's did not do anything, like, are they going to finally come to the senses when they say, okay, we're going to put this legislation up front. We're going to see what they can do. Because it's like, it seems like the USA is like behind on things that we should be on top of when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to gun legislation, when it comes to the minimum wage, all this stuff. It's just like we're just not up to speed and up to date of what's going on. And this is just like another tragedy. And if we don't do nothing about this, then this is just going to keep on going. And it's scary right now because it can be anybody. For anybody that says, oh, you know, I don't feel bad. It is what, like, at the end of the day, like, it could be you, me, or anybody. It don't matter who it is, you know. And it's really sad and unfortunate. I don't support him. I don't like him, but I don't wish nothing like that on Charlie Kirk. I don't think anybody should, because I don't know. Like that's just, to me, that's scary, man. Like, and we're living in scary times right now, and something's like they got to do something. You know what I'm saying? But at this point right now, like, I hope everything's fine with them, like, for real, like, because that's just terrible.
This is horrible. I agree with your sentiment, my friend. Very well stated, and I appreciate your phone call. We're going to try to get my good friend Joe Walsh to join us on the show. Joe Walsh was friends with Charlie Kirk for years. Joe Walsh just tweeted out, Charlie Kirk was like a son to me. Many years ago, I helped him get Turning Point USA started. We went our separate ways because of Trump and went after each often on social media. My heart breaks for him and his family right now. We must all get off this road of political violence. Stop this. I commend Joe Walsh for doing that. And yes, I've had conversations with Joe Walsh about Charlie Kirk over the last few years. They didn't get along very well, but it doesn't mean we can condone political violence in any way, shape, or form. And this is really bad. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's see here. Let's go to Kathy. Kathy's next up on PTL. What's up, Kathy?
Hey, Brian. I'm just really gobsmacked about this. I understand, and I did not like Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, but he is a father and he is a husband. What I'm about to say is probably a little bit, shocking. I don't blame the shooter. I blame conservative media for brainwashing the rhetoric to people and the hatred for likes and clicks. I blame the mainstream media for not checking them and not preventing balanced information. I blame also, more than those two outlets, I also blame our elected officials who are not speaking out against the hatred and the bigotry that Donald Trump has infested into this country. They are sitting back and allowing him to push these hatred rhetoric and his policies. They are sitting back and not letting it do it because they're so greedy for power.
I agree. No, listen, I completely agree with you, my dear. I'm sorry to cut you short. But I wanted to get this guy right on the line right now. My friend Joe Walsh has been, at one point they were very close friends, Joe Walsh and Charlie Kirk. And I just wanted to get him on for a few minutes to join us. Joe, I'm sorry to have to have you on under these circumstances, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on this horrible news that Charlie Kirk has been shot at one of his rallies.
Hey, Brian, good to hear your voice. Look, just to cut to the chase, Charlie Kirk was like a son to me. I helped him launch Turning Point USA so many years ago. I was his father. He and I broke up, obviously, with Trump. We went our separate ways, and we went after each other hard on social media over the last 7 or 8 years. But my heart breaks for him and his family, because if you've seen the video, it just doesn't look good. But the only other thought, Brian, is, look, I'm gonna lose my you-know-what if anybody gets political with this,
right.
And if anybody says either side has a monopoly on political violence, I'm going to lose my you-know-what. We have a decision to make now, right? We either all stand down and we all condemn all political violence, or we keep it up. Remember the shootings in Minnesota, 2 Democratic lawmakers And the right away got political with that. Stop. Condemn it all.
Agree. I guess one more question, Joe, and I appreciate you coming on with us. Are you worried about retribution? I just had Don Lemon on the show, and we were talking a little bit about that. I'm worried about retribution now, and obviously we all hope, pray that Charlie Kirk makes it through this. It certainly does not look good, and he's a father and he's a husband, and this is awful. I agree with everything you just said. Are you worried now about retribution if, in fact, Charlie Kirk doesn't make it through this, which we hope that doesn't happen, that there's just going to be more political violence after this?
Brian, when you're a public figure, every time I go out and publicly speak, I'm concerned. This is the world we live in. Every time I speak and I'm out there with people, this is a constant worry. When you're Charlie, look, again, the last 7 or 8 years, we broke up and he was a divisive guy. He's got a right to those views. But if you are out there in the public square like I am and so many other people are, this is a constant fear. And my fear is, to your point, it's only going to get worse.
Unfortunately, Joe, I tend to agree with you on that. I know at one point you guys were friends, so this has got to be difficult for you as well.
He was, Brian, last thing I'll say, he was quite literally my son for 5 or 6 or 7 years. Yeah.
What was he like
Thanks,
behind? Last question. I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
What was he like when the cameras weren't on him and he wasn't in public? You know Charlie Kirk privately, the person. Sometimes people put on an act. I'm not saying he did that, but what is Charlie Kirk like, the person behind the scenes?
He was more decent and more real than he came out in public. But again, Brian, I got to make the important distinction. He sold his soul to support Trump, and my son changed publicly and privately. He changed.
I hear you, Joe. Hey, I appreciate you taking a couple minutes to come on, my friend. Hang in there, and I appreciate your time, Joe. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian.
Appreciate that. There you go. That's Joe Walsh, everybody. Joe Walsh was one of the people years ago that helped Charlie Kirk get Turning Point USA going. You could hear Joe Walsh's voice. He's obviously suffering from this, and I'm saddened to hear this as well, and I'm very worried. If you're just joining us, the breaking news: Charlie Kirk. Here's what we know. I'm going to give you only the facts, not opinions. At around an hour and 5 minutes ago, Charlie Kirk was speaking and taking questions at a Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University. As I went on the air, we learned that he was shot. As I saw the video, as I would imagine many of you have already seen the video or parts of it, he was shot in the neck. Blood gushed out of his neck, and then momentarily he dropped to the ground. It looked very, very bad. We are learning through reports that right now he is in critical condition. That could be changing by the second. I don't know. But that is what we know right now. And again, whenever we have any more information on this shooting, I promise you we will share that with you momentarily. But that is all we know right now. He is in critical condition. As I keep looking at the videos, they're very difficult to watch. I did not plan on talking about this today as I got to the radio show. I didn't plan on having Joe Walsh on the show either. As we continue to follow this breaking news, Immortal Suspects with the kind donation says, "Thank you for the way you are handling the news today, Brian. I hope now we can finally get some gun legislation. Prayers for Charlie Kirk and his family." I completely agree with you, Immortal. I completely agree with you. We've just learned another report that has just come out. A reporter on the scene who claims the police have determined that a person who was taken into custody after the shooting was not actually the shooter, according to Scott Trotter, a university spokesman. So the person that we saw is not the shooter. I saw a video of an elderly man, a white man. The university had earlier said a suspect was in custody. Now videos online showed an older man being detained by police officers. So we don't even know if the shooter is in custody or not now. We don't know. The report that I put on the air was from the Associated Press. And again, when you have breaking news that is news that you put out there is not always the correct news. But what I'm seeing right now, and there are other videos now that I'm looking at, other videos right now where another side view of this shooting that I am looking at, and you see him fall to the ground, and you see everybody look where the shot came from. Everyone's head turned. It's kind of interesting because when the first Donald Trump assassination took place, we really didn't see a lot of people's heads moving everywhere. It was very bizarre. When you look at this shooting, everybody's heads are turning after that shot rang out. Now, this is also very troubling, too, because we don't know if a suspect is in custody or not. We heard reports that a suspect was in custody, and then we see reports that that's not the case. So I don't know. What I can tell you is that I've seen multiple videos. I see massive amounts of blood coming out of Charlie Kirk's neck. I just saw another video where you see it's almost like he's motionless, like a couple seconds after he was shot. It looks like seconds after he was shot, he's motionless. So this does not look good. 702-221-7283. Very difficult to do a show under these circumstances. This is not good for the country. Let's get back to the phone calls in a moment here. I think we have another report that says, a Turning Point USA official says Charlie Kirk is at the hospital, but it doesn't look good. Confirmed Kirk was shot in the neck. So a Turning Point USA official saying it doesn't look good. I think we all know that. It probably doesn't look good. Let's go to Damon. Damon is next up on PTL. What's up, Damon?
Hey, what's going on, Brian? First, I want to say, I agree with you. This is not something to be happy about. Should never condone violence. But keeping it 100, like we do here in the PTL family, I'm very conflicted, Brian, because I know it's a horrible thing, family and all of that. But as I'm thinking that, I think to Charlie Kirk saying, well, when I see it's two white pilots, I'm glad they got the right stuff.
Well, listen, hold on. Okay, so Damon, sorry.
No, I ain't done, Brian. Let me finish. Let me finish, Brian. Let me finish.
I will.
I ain't done.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Get the whole context. Whole context.
Okay.
Okay. Then I think about his role that the Heritage Foundation, Peter Thiel, whoever gave it to him, is to go out to these college campuses and affect these young, impressionable minds with this bullshit, to edit his videos in a way to where he's winning all the arguments, never show when he loses. He's 30-something years old debating children. Of course you're going to win. This is his role, Brian, to poison young kids' minds. This is what's going through my head, but I'm still feeling Christian, Brian. But these MAGA make it hard to act Christian, Brian. That's a T-shirt. Any old way.
Okay, so Damon, let me just respond to what you just
hold
said.
on, I ain't done yet, Brian. Then you get back to all the racism and the end game of what they really want, Brian. They want the Mexican gone and me in chains.
Okay, Damon, hang on. Just let me respond.
Sorry for a man that want me in chains, Brian.
Damon, I'm going to give you more time. I just want to interject real quickly here. You could have the most racist, misogynist person on the planet, and I still wouldn't condone that person being shot.
I don't condone it, Brian. Didn't I tell you I was conflicted?
Yes. So you can be a bad person, and yes, I do believe Charlie Kirk is a bad person. But it doesn't mean a bad person should be shot in the neck.
It's a different game we saying, Brian. The stakes is their life and death. He preached death every day. Every time somebody died, he went with the Republican line and never went independent.
Okay.
Thoughts and prayers.
I understand that.
They party is about death, Brian. So when death comes to them, it's hard for me to feel sorry for somebody.
Here's who I feel sorry for. Okay, so let me.
And now death comes to you.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. When there's a shooting, school shooting, thoughts and prayers. I get all that. Here's who I really feel sorry for. Okay, let me start here. I really feel sorry for his family. I feel sorry for his child who's going to be growing up without a father. I feel sorry for his wife. I feel sorry for his family and friends who never did anything wrong. Here's who else I feel scared for. Anybody who is a public figure who is on the other side. This is a horrible situation. I understand your statements and what you're saying, and I am not here to defend Charlie Kirk, but what I am here to say, violence is never the answer, and I hope he pulls through this. And I feel for his family. This is awful. This is an awful situation. It's terrible. I hope they find the person who's responsible for this. This just cannot be tolerated in our society in any way, shape, or form. And I'm tired of people blaming the left and the right. They want to blame the left for this guy who killed this Ukrainian woman on a train. They want to blame the left without even knowing who the person was that shot Charlie Kirk. For all you know, it could be any deranged individual that has no political affiliation that just wanted to be famous. We have no idea. And just because one person in your affiliated in your party does something wrong doesn't mean that all Democrats are bad. I've said that about Republicans too. Just because you had a bunch of MAGA morons on January 6th that did some horrible things, it doesn't mean every single person that voted for Donald Trump is okay with beating police officers. We have to be very careful here. And I know MSNBC is still reporting that the suspect is in custody, but I've also heard reports that say the shooting suspect on CNN saying that the shooting suspect is not in custody, which is really, really bad, because this is somebody who clearly is capable of pulling through this horrible crime. What's next? So I'm just worried, Damon. I'm worried about more political violence and retribution as well. I want Charlie Kirk to survive this. It does not look good. It does not look like Charlie Kirk is going to survive this. I wish I was wrong. I hope I'm wrong. It does not look good for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it doesn't. But my thing is, Brian, I feel for his family. I'm not about to sit here and wish no pain on those people. I know nothing about them. But my thing is, Brian, I know what's at stake here. We all know they're trying to be a dictatorship. They want black people as slaves, Mexicans gone, and everybody else poor. And since I know what the stakes is and he was part of it, Brian, it's hard for me because I'm conflicted. This is a line that DMX, the great Negro poet, said. The moves that we made goes against the rules of this game that we play.
I get it.
The new game that we playing, Brian, the new game we playing is not feel sorry for the devil.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think
you and the devil's work, it's hard to feel sorry for you, Brian.
I understand, but this is still a man in his 30s who has a wife and a child and a family. I am not conflicted when it comes to political violence in any way, shape, or form. Damon, I understand your frustration. I understand what you're saying. I never said Charlie Kirk was a good guy, and I've never defended anything he's ever said. But I will defend him here. He did not deserve this. His family does not deserve this. We are learning that Provo's Level 2 Trauma Center is only about 10 minutes away from where Charlie Kirk was shot. That could play a key role here. We also know that time is obviously critical in these situations. But if he's stabilized, and I'm not saying he is going to be stabilized, but if he is, Salt Lake City's Level 1 Trauma Center is a short airlift away. So that is good news. Listen, I don't know whether he's alive or not right now. Nobody does, except for the people in the hospital that I would imagine are working on him right now. He could be dead right now. I don't know. I hope that's not the case. But this is a wild and crazy story. And I'm almost at a loss for words. I mean, this struck me. I had no idea I was going to talk about this when I went on the air today. This is a crazy story. And I will read to you. Remember, he went on Gavin Newsom's podcast not that long ago. Gavin Newsom said the attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. Listen, the Democrats are all saying the right things. I expect that of Gavin Newsom. I expected that of Don Lemon and Joe Walsh. They're all saying the right things. 702-221-7283, the number to call. If you want to be a part of the show, let's go to Will. Will is next up on PTL. Hey, Will, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. Listen, I totally agree with you. No one should be shot, especially for political reasons, for any reasons. But something that has not been touched on the show, and I'm going to get it off as soon as possible so you can elaborate on it. The thing that I think about, obviously, the first is your family, my family.
Correct.
It keeps coming back in my mind is this is at the feet of Donald Trump. He creates chaos. People get angry and they do horrible things for different reasons.
Listen, I'll say this. I'll say this. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, hateful rhetoric never helps. Never helps.
Exactly. No, it doesn't.
So I understand why you would say that.
And I just feel that he creates this chaos and this anger and this, you see it in what's going on now in what happened in Poland, in Middle East, in Russia, and everything. I just can't stop but saying this is his fault. He creates this fear, this anger, this chaos in this country, and it's starting to come to a head. We are in a boiling kettle, and it's going to blow. People, God forbid, Charlie Kirk passes away.
Well, here's something that's ironic.
Create more violence.
I don't disagree with you, my friend, but here's something that is so ironic that my friend Ryan Shedd just sent me, because I was talking to Ryan this morning. Charlie Kirk was literally debating a student at the university about mass shootings when he was shot. I've just witnessed another video from a cell phone that I don't think the media has. And in this video, I hear him and he grabs the microphone and he's literally debating a student about mass shootings. And as you know, I'm not saying Charlie Kirk deserved this. Of course, I'm not saying that. But Charlie Kirk was someone who always thought that more guns make us safer. Well, I'll tell you what, didn't work for him today. And I wish that was not the case. He was literally debating a college student about mass shootings in the moment that he was shot in the neck. Think about that. Maybe some people on the right will wake up a little bit and do something about all this gun violence in this country and all these people that are losing their lives, whether it's Charlie Kirk or whether it's an 8 or a 9-year-old innocent child in a school. When are we going to have enough? When is it going to be enough? And Republicans finally going to say, okay, enough is enough. This shouldn't be happening in this country. It shouldn't be happening anywhere, especially in the richest country in the world. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to David. David is next up on PTL. Hello, David.
Hey, what's going on, Brian? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So let's just put it out this right here. All right. So for one thing, we've got, when Clinton and Barack Obama and whatnot and so forth, we had mental health. Did you know that we had it?
Yes.
But Donald Trump took it off. He took that program for mental health, and all these Republicans, when every single time when there's a shooting going on, saying, blame it on the mental health, blame it on the mental health. Well, people, let me tell you, the Republicans took mental health, that program for people that has a problem. He took it off the program. He took that money, he took it off so nobody will not go to have some mental health issues. So he took it off the program. He stopped funding it. And on top of that, if this guy survives, and it's not going to look pretty, and with all due respect, he's going to be a vegetable. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be the hard part for this. But even though if he comes out of this, okay, God willing, he will be a vegetable. And that's what my dad was when he passed away. When he had a brain tumor. So I'm just letting you know the outcome's not going to look good. And as far as these things that are happening right now in the schools and so forth, it's never going to change. It never will. I'm 60 years old. I was born in the 70s and 60s. In the 60s and 70s and 80s, we never had this problem when I was going in high school. But now it's gotten worse. Now two parties can't even coexist as a people. You got Australia. Australia doesn't even have this problem.
Yeah,
we're the only problem that we have. And as long as the NRA is being backed by the lobbyist people, it's never going to change. It will never change.
Oh, I agree.
I'll be dead.
I agree.
I'm 60. I'll be passing on. I'll be passing on with my life.
Yeah, I hear
and I'll be off this earth.
Yep.
And I'll tell you one thing: it'll continue happening. That's
I agree.
The way it's going to be.
I wish you were wrong, but sadly, I agree with you. Before I read a statement from Kamala Harris, I've had some people in the news business that I know, some prominent people, I won't say who, that have just sent me some other multiple. Boy, it's really hard for me to look at this. I'm looking at it on my phone, and it's just, I mean, I'm just a human being. I'm sorry, folks. I'm a human being. I'm looking at him sitting in the chair, a close-up. and he's holding the microphone, and he's shot, and tons of blood. And then you see him just go stiff. He drops the microphone, and he's motionless, which could mean he just lost consciousness, or it could mean his heart stopped. I don't know. But listen, I'm a human being, okay? And give me a little bit here. It's just horrible what I just saw. Horrible. I don't know how anybody could recover from an injury like that. It'll be a miracle if he recovers. I'm sorry. I just saw multiple videos and some new videos that I haven't seen before, and it's I don't think he's going to make it. Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it. My thoughts are with his family and friends, and this is a terrible, it's a bad day for the country. I don't care what you think about Charlie Kirk. I'm not getting into that anymore. This is a bad day for the country. I feel horrible, and it just does not appear like he's going to make it. I just had a friend of mine who just texted me, who's a ER doctor, who has she has seen the video, and she says, this is what she told me. She's like, I give him less than 5% chance to survive. And if he does survive, she believes it was the jugular from the videos that she saw. And she says, even if he does survive, he'll never be the same again. But this is just, this is a horrible situation. I do want to read, and are we learning? I'm trying to get confirmation on this because there are now some reports that Charlie Kirk has lost his life. And I'm trying to get confirmation on that. So I don't know. I haven't seen from any of the large national networks that have confirmed that, but I have heard from seeing right now on some social media accounts that I do trust that Charlie Kirk was pronounced dead. I don't know if that's true. I cannot confirm it. I'm just telling you, I've seen some reports and sources that are saying that Charlie Kirk has officially been pronounced dead. I don't know if that's true or not. If I can get a confirmation from somebody, then I will share that with you. Kamala Harris, our former vice president, said, I'm deeply disturbed by the shooting in Utah. Doug and I send our prayers to Charlie Kirk and his family. Let me be clear. Political violence has no place in America. I condemn this act, and we all must work together to ensure this does not lead to more violence. I completely agree on both sides of the aisle. It doesn't matter where it's from. Wow. I mean, if you told me, driving into the radio show today that I'd be getting like a little teary-eyed and emotional because of something bad that happened to Charlie Kirk, I wouldn't believe you, but I'm there right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm there. This is really bad. Yeah, this is just really bad. Yeah, I'm thinking about his family. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Let's go back to the phone lines, if I may. Let's go to Leonard. Leonard is next on PTL. Hello, Leonard.
Hey, Brian. Just first up, how you feeling? You okay?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. This is. I didn't think I'd be talking about this today. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's tough.
This was the last thing
Let
that
me
was
just
on my
start by
mind.
saying, you guys, you and Numchuck, great coverage. You guys got right on top of it. Very professional. I felt like I was watching a live news conference. Don Lemon calling in was excellent. And I feel the same way you do. I reinforce what you're saying. I don't agree with political violence. I didn't like Charlie Kirk. I didn't like what he stood for or what he said. But people have to remember that, wishing bad or being okay with bad things happening to other people, even your rivals, creates bad karma. That creates a bad sense of society. And I think that Charlie Kirk, was a person that was just out there in the public and something bad happened to him. I did see the video. As a 25-year police officer, I've watched people get shot. I've arrived right after they were shot, and I would say that the video that was shown is particularly bad. Immediately, a ton of blood, came out. I don't want to get too graphic, but that was probably a pitcher full of blood that came out almost immediately. And then, like you said, he fell, he went stiff. And I don't agree with any of the listeners or any of the people in the chat that said that think it's a good thing or it's a positive thing. I think it was a bad It's a bad day for public figures, and it's dangerous out there.
It is. Leonard, well said. You're going to be joining me in studio tomorrow, and obviously we'll be talking about this tomorrow as well. This is a huge story. It's a terrible story.
Great job again, Brian. You and Numchuck, great job on the story.
Thank you, Leonard. I appreciate that. I cannot confirm any reports that Charlie Kirk has lost his life. What I can tell you is we know for sure that he is in critical condition. We know for sure that he was shot once in the neck. I don't know if it was the jugular or not. I don't know. We know that he was shot by a rifle at least 200 yards away. Here's what's even more problematic. As far as I know, according to CNN, a suspect is not in custody. Okay, so what source are you reading that from? This is really important because I don't want to say that on the air unless it is 100% confirmed. Okay, I'm not going to say this on the air unless it's 100% confirmed. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to stop doing that because I don't think that's responsible. But what I can tell you right now is regardless of whether Charlie Kirk survives or not, this is going to be the topic of discussion for weeks, months, and even years to come. Shelly in the YouTube super chat says every public figure has to have more protection and being more careful from now on. It's just too dangerous. Well, I agree with you. I don't know how, if you have an event outside and you have all these buildings around there, you got to treat it like you're the president of the United States. All the buildings have to be cleared. It costs a lot of money. And when you're a public figure and you're a controversial figure, it makes it more dangerous. You know, I just had Larry Flint's wife on this show, the late Larry Flint. And, you know, Larry Flint's life, he survived, but he was paralyzed. This is terrible. This is terrible. And we're going to have to, all right. So again, here's what I can tell you. And, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm going by social media. And sometimes when you report on from social media accounts, whether they're prominent accounts or not, but I'm going to report on apparently Utah's House Speaker, Mike Schultz, has said Charlie Kirk has been pronounced dead. I don't know if that's true or not, but according to Utah House Speaker Mike Schultz, reports are that he is. Again, I'm just going by what we're reading. You know, I'm just like everybody else here, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to get confirmation, and I hope that's not true. I hope that's misinformation. Number to call, 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's get back to the phone lines, and let's go to, let's see here. Let's go to Brett. Brett is next up on PTL. Hello, Brett. Hi, Brett.
Hey, what's up, Brian?
Hey.
How are you?
Doing all right, man. What's on your mind?
This is just terrible. You know, this kind of violence doesn't do anything but just compound the situation, and it's just going to make things worse. And, you know, I don't know if you've thought about this or not, but you need to have eyes in the back of your head, Brian, because I don't know if you realize that, but you piss these guys off like nobody else. And I'm just worried about everybody that's in the field similar to yours that speaks out against Donald Trump and this kind of rhetoric, and you all need to remain safe because there's a lot of crazy people out there, and this is just awful. I couldn't stand the guy either, but I didn't wish him dead. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. I'd be shocked if he survives this.
I would be as well. I mean, I'm trying to get some sort of confirmation. Real America's Voice, which is a very large Twitter account and a prominent account, is also reporting that Charlie Kirk has been pronounced dead. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't confirm that. I'm just giving you, this is breaking news. You know, this is breaking news, and I, you know, I don't like to spread misinformation, but Real America's Voice is a pretty credible. Numchuck, how many followers does Real America's? Not that if you have a ton of followers, that means you're always going to be right, but they have almost 500,000 followers. I just can't imagine that they would put out this misinformation if it wasn't true. But I appreciate your call, my friend, and your sentiment. I'm with you on this 150%. We hope that's not true, and we hope he's still alive. But we're learning on reports that there's still a shooter on the loose, which is also extremely problematic. They haven't even caught the person or persons who did this. We know that one shot was fired, so I can't imagine from 200 yards away. Some of you know more about guns than I do, but I can't imagine from 200 yards away, when you have that sort of accuracy, that this was someone that knew exactly what they were doing. That's for sure. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Lewis. Lewis is next up on PTL. Hello, Lewis.
Hey, what's going on, Brian?
Hi.
This is really horrible, obviously. But I have to agree with you, one of your previous callers. I mean, first of all, I mean, to be honest with you, unfortunately, but I'm just not surprised. I'm not surprised this happened. This was bound to happen, and unfortunately, again, I just feel it's going to get worse. And I have to, you know, obviously you can't put, but a lot of the blame falls on Donald Trump. I mean, this is what he has done. He has perpetuated, he has exacerbated the hate in this country. I mean, and it's like Don Lemon says, we do such a terrible job of covering the hate that this guy stirs up. I mean, he's stirring up so much hate. And then another problem is you got enablers. He's got all of Congress. They are his enablers. They know that what he's doing is wrong. They know it, and they cover it up. They don't care because they're all benefiting from it.
Listen. Here's what I will say, which I think we will both agree on. Regardless of whether Charlie Kirk makes it or not, and of course, if you're a decent human being, you want him to pull through this. It's not looking good. Regardless, something good has to come out of this. What I mean by that is Republicans and Democrats, for God's sakes, get to the table and do some things to help people that are mentally ill, do some things when it comes to gun control. It might have not prevented this from happening, but for God's sakes, this is a moment in our country where we need to say enough is enough. We see these children being killed and shot in schools. We had another shooting in Denver, another school shooting in Denver today. Something needs to happen here.
Brian, the other day, I mean, and I agree 100%, and it's frustrating. I hear it in your voice when you say enough is enough, and I've been saying that for years. But the other day we had, I mean, what about when they shot the senator from Minnesota, senator and her husband? Donald Trump didn't even come out to the country and say, "Hey, political violence." He didn't come out and say anything.
Well, I got to add this, my friend. And I appreciate your call. And again, I'm just reporting on what I'm hearing. If we could go back up to it. So the network that actually, because I never watched the Charlie Kirk show, I'll be honest with you, but apparently the network that airs his show, Real America's Voice, is displaying on their network right now that Charlie Kirk has passed away. So I can't imagine. I mean, they must know his family members and close friends. So I'm going to have to say right now at 1:38 p.m. on my show, based on that evidence alone, that it appears as though Charlie Kirk has passed away. His own network that airs his show is reporting that he is dead. I wish I could bring better news. I wish this had a better outcome. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News are not reporting that or not confirming that yet, but I can tell you right now that on his own network, they are pronouncing that Charlie Kirk has passed. So take that for what you will, ladies. It's certainly not a good situation. Donald Trump saying he was a tremendous person. So I would imagine that Donald Trump has already received this news. When you say he was a tremendous person, that means he is no longer with us. That's what Donald Trump just said. He said, not good, very, very good friend of mine. He was a tremendous person. Donald Trump just said it's not looking good. It's looking very, very bad. That was the full statement from Donald Trump. So listen, I don't really know what else to say other than the fact that I feel horrible for his friends and family. I feel terrible. And I'm just absolutely in shock. As we're looking at another video, if we can continue to watch that, that would be great. I'm looking at a new video from behind the stage where Charlie Kirk is shot in the neck. Now we're seeing a video where he has fallen to the ground and immediately is completely motionless, and there are a couple of people that are taking cover and are aiding to try to help him. But the problem that I have here is I'm watching this video, it's 40 seconds. I don't see any medics or anybody really working on him. I'm not sure, by the way, if that would have helped at all. But this is the first video that I saw from behind the stage, and he was shot in the neck. And this is just, it's just awful. I've watched pretty much every angle of this shooting. I can tell you right now, every single time I watch a different angle, it just is very upsetting to see. Regardless of what you think about Charlie Kirk, he's a young man in his 30s that has a child and a wife, and this is a terrible day for the country. Terrible day for the country. Lewis is next up on PTL. Hello, Lewis.
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, this is a very unfortunate situation. I mean, I don't really know what else I could say about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always horrible to hear, even someone like Charlie Kirk, regardless of his beliefs.
Yep.
Such a thing should not happen, especially in our great country. That's all I can really say.
Yeah.
I'm kind of flabbergasted by the news.
I am too. When I heard that he was shot, I was hoping that, maybe it was a flesh wound, or maybe he got shot in the arm or the leg. But as soon as I saw that first video, and I think when we all saw that video for the first time on TMZ, as soon as you saw that first video, you had to be saying to yourself, oh my God, this is terrible.
I didn't see, I'll admit that I didn't see the video. I only learned about the situation from a TikTok streamer, but I didn't know. But it was just now from you that I learned that.
I'm also gonna report on right now. CNN has an aerial view of, it appears as though law enforcement surrounding a building where they believe the shot rang from. There's a SWAT team that is now entering the building. There is no information that would lead us to believe that the shooter is in custody. First reports that said that he was. They arrested the wrong person. Now they are entering. They are right now, as we are speaking, right now, entering a building where they believe the shooter is or was. Now that's again, this is all happening right now. I've covered a lot of breaking news stories live on the air. This is one that I will certainly remember for a long time. This is crazy. Thank you for the call.
Should I get off on here?
I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you, sir, for joining us. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to get to some more callers, if I may, at 702-221-7283, which is the number. Let's see. Let's go to Darlene. Darlene is next up on PTL. Hello, Darlene.
Hey, Brian. I want everybody to know I'm not calling in as the MAGA destroyer today. I'm calling in as Darlene. First of all, Brian, I want to give a shout out to one of our PTL members, Karen. She's one of she loves you, and she calls in all the time, and she had to have brain surgery today. So I want to put that out there first. But now I want to say one thing to everybody. You guys have your opinion, and I've been watching comments in the chat. That's okay that you have your opinion, but now I'm going to give you my opinion. Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. If you're saying something bad about this, shame on you. I couldn't stand Charlie Kirk either, his views on everything, but let me tell you something.
Darlene,
I have a heart.
Darlene, I'm sorry to cut you off, Darlene, but I am going to say this on the show right now because it has been confirmed. And sadly, I am reporting to you right now, sadly, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that Charlie Kirk has officially lost his life. He was pronounced dead about 16 minutes ago. Donald Trump has stated that Charlie Kirk is dead. Trump's statement is the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. Again, we can now make the official statement and comment that Charlie Kirk is officially dead. I hope the person or persons that are responsible for this are held to the highest extent of the law. This is a terrible day for the country. And Donald Trump just made it official himself. Charlie Kirk is officially dead. He was shot at this Turning Point event today. We still have no word on if the shooter is in custody or whether the shooter took their own life. We don't know, but I can report to you in full confidence now, because Donald Trump just confirmed that Charlie Kirk is officially dead. It's just terrible. And my thoughts go out to him, his family, his friends. This is a terrible day for the country. I don't care what your opinions are on Charlie Kirk. It's a terrible day for the country. And violence cannot be condoned in any way, shape, or form. I can tell you that when I saw this video, my immediate reaction was, oh my God, how can you survive something like that? And sadly, I was right. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff is next up on PTL. Hi, Jeff.
Yes, the issue here is, security at a lot of venues. They have double and triple security. They go through metal detectors and all that. I don't think they had any of that here.
Well, that's something that we're certainly going to talk about, and I'm going to try to do rapid fire here and get as many people on as possible in a short period of time. And Darlene, I apologize. We had to cut your call short. I'm going to try to get to as many callers as I can here. Let's go to Gary. Gary's next. Hi, Gary.
Yes, Brian. I just got one thing to say. It's a horrible fucking, horrible thing that he's dead.
Yeah.
I am. And me and my brothers, 4 brothers in a family, we were avid shooters. We love shooting targets and hunting. And we used to shoot with a police shot. We practiced on the same field. And they invited us to shoot with them. And we shot with them on their courses. And after one visit, they asked us to leave because we outshot everybody there. We aced their course. But that doesn't mean that I love guns. I got rid of my guns, and I see my life spiraling into a thing. I sold them. I turned them into food and drug money, of course. But
yeah,
I got rid of them. I had the wherewithal to not have them when I was starting to rage inside.
Because you're a reasonable person. You're a reasonable person. And I appreciate the call. Again, the breaking news: Charlie Kirk is dead. He was shot at Utah Valley University, and it is official through the President of the United States, Donald Trump, that officially Charlie Kirk has lost his life. Who are we going to next year? Let's go to Todd. Hi, Todd.
Hey, Ivan. I'll make it quick because I know you're really busy. I just want to say, I hate that it's going to sound, but is it kind of we kind of all knew this kind of thing would eventually happen. I
did say this, Todd. I didn't know it would happen to Charlie Kirk, but I did say this.
No, not him.
Yeah, I've been saying for years that I'm surprised there's not more political violence with all the hatred.
Same here.
And the big, so, to that extent, am I surprised? No. Am I shocked that Charlie Kirk was shot at a university today? Yes. But I'm not surprised that we're seeing more and more political violence, and it's got to stop. We got to do something about this. And if Republicans don't do anything about
point, right?
If Republicans don't do anything about gun control now, they never will. I was supposed to be meeting in a room with Charlie Kirk and several other influencers. It was supposed to be happening in December. I was looking forward to finally meeting him face to face and having a conversation with him. That's definitely not going to happen now. And it's just
ideas, please. Bullets, no thanks. Right?
Yeah, it's just horrible, my friend. I appreciate your phone call. Thank you so much. Going back to the phone calls as we're doing a little bit of rapid fire here. Let's go to KC. KC is next. Hello, KC.
Hey, how you doing, Brian?
Good.
Well, 4 of your callers are spot on, and I know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I shed no tear, my friend. This man was a Nazi.
Oh, come on. No. We're not going to do that. Not going to do that. First of all, Charlie Kirk wasn't responsible for killing 7 million Jews, so you're wrong about that. Number 2, don't do what others do. Don't do what some on the right do. Don't do that. I will not allow it on this show. Definitely not today. You're welcome to call back another time, sir, but we're not going to call somebody a Nazi who was just murdered in cold blood, even though we disagree. And listen, I don't defend any of his views, but I'm not going to call the guy a Nazi, and I'm especially not going to say that on the day that he was murdered. It ain't going to happen, my friend, so please don't do that. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Brian. Hey, 3 things really quick. 200 yards, you can't establish a perimeter for some of these high-velocity weapons that would be safe enough for anyone.
Good point.
The only way to make these events safe is to eliminate all those high-powered military-style weapons in this country. It's the guns, people, first of all. And secondly, I want to know if Trump just put out on his tweet before contacting the family, offering condolences or anything else, or did he just blurt it out like he doesn't care about the family?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point, Mark. And I apologize. I've been all over the place in this show today trying to do the best I can. I've gotten 3 requests to go on 3 different shows here at the top of the hour. I've chosen to go on my friend Don Lemon's show at the top of the hour because he is such a good friend of mine and he's such a great guy. So I will be joining the Don Lemon show here at the top of the hour from the radio station, from here, I guess, on my phone. I'm not very well prepared to do so, but that's what I'm going to do. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. I am in shock. This has been a show to remember, that's for sure. Wow. Let's go to Randy. Randy is next up on PTL. Hi, Randy. Did we lose Randy? I think we lost him. Oh, there you go, Randy.
Hey, Brian.
Go right ahead.
I'm here. Yeah. Hey. First and foremost, this is horrible and reflects just how far we have just fallen as a society. The fact that I disagree with him. So everything, but he didn't deserve to get shot. And also, I was looking it up because my friend told me about this. Utah passed the law to allow open carry of firearms on college campuses. And I'm reading right now on the University of Utah guidelines for how to open carry a firearm on campus. Okay, can we use some freaking common sense as a country with the only firearm issue with school shootings and not allow guns on campuses?
I agree.
Hello?
I agree.
Where's the common sense?
I could not agree with you more. So, folks, this is a lot of information, and the story broke as I was on the air today. This is a show and a day that I will certainly remember for the rest of my life. This is a horrible, horrible, horrible situation. My thoughts go out to Charlie Kirk's family and friends. Charlie Kirk officially dead, shot at one of his own Turning Point events. We've all seen the videos. It's tragic. It's awful. It's sad. And I'm just... the reason why I'm emotional is because this is such a sad day for the country. It's just a sad day for the country. I don't care what your views are on Charlie Kirk. I don't want to hear any of that right now. I can't imagine what his wife and his family is going through right now. And I hurt for anybody who is the victim of violence. And I'm also hurting because I know that this puts everybody's lives in jeopardy. Anybody who covers politics, there's going to be retribution. I'm afraid of that. And they're going to blame one side of the aisle. I don't like that either, for all the violence in this country, which is also not true. I'm asking all my listeners to this as I sign off today. I'm asking you all for a favor. Please, if you have nothing nice to say about Charlie Kirk today, then don't say anything. Please. Please show some class. Even if you didn't like what Charlie Kirk stood for, which I didn't, I'm asking all of you as a favor to me. Don't do that. Don't be like that other caller a few callers ago, calling him a Nazi. Don't do that. Think about the family. Pray for the family. Let's do something about gun control. Let's try to do everything we can as a society to prevent things like this from happening again. And let's put Charlie Kirk's family in our thoughts and prayers, because that is the right thing to do. Be a good person. I don't want to hear, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Okay, 2 wrongs don't make a right. This is a terrible day for the country. My thoughts and prayers. I appreciate all of you guys for joining us. I'm going to be jumping on the Don Lemon show coming up at the top of the hour. If you continue to want to hear my voice, I got to get myself together here. Tomorrow, Leonard Cardinale will be joining us in studio. Probably no more of a better day than Leonard, as a former police officer, to be in here. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thank you for sticking in with us, and we'll see you tomorrow.